Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to My Spiritual Money RX. So, today you're going to be meeting the different healers in our Transformational Wellness Academy because we want to share with you our little zone of genius when it comes to manifestation. So, a lot of you are already tuning in every single day this whole week, right? From 12:30 to 2 o'clock, because we've showcased all of our healers every single day. Monday, I was there, and it was about align your energy centers. Because, sometimes we get tired, we get exhausted, we get overwhelmed, but it's because sometimes we're not aligned with our soul purpose and we're saying yes to too many things and not really taking time for ourselves to align those centers. When you are calm, when you are really like satisfied, you're feeling fulfilled, peaceful, maybe successful, or you're feeling really at peace with who you are, right? Then life comes to you with ease, grace, and flow, and it's up to you whether you say yes and no or no to that, right? And then yesterday, we had Vienna. Vienna Dunham is our emotion code practitioner, and she talked about emotions. Some are positive, some are negative, but some emotions are triggers, right? It doesn't have to be all positive, but usually those are the things that tend to move us forward toward our goals in life. And then today, right after this show, we're going to have Therese Nadeau. She is our Oracle card master reader, and she's going to share with you how does she use these divination tools in order for you to be guided. So let's say you cleared your clutter, you cleared a lot of your emotional negative energies, all the psychic and spiritual stuff, and even the physical clutter in your life. But then you're like, so what do I do now? Because my life has changed. So Therese will take us through the Oracle card reading and share with you why it's so important and what is it about. And then on the last day, we're going to have Amy Fahim on quantum code activation frequency. So without further ado, I am going to bring up Therese on our show. Hey, Therese.
Hi.
Welcome. How are you, girl?
I'm great. Thank you for having me, Vivian. Excited to be here again.
So share with us again first as a reflector, right? You're a reflector in human design. How does your aura actually work versus I'm a generator? I'm like a magnet. I just pull in the energies that I need in my life and there goes. They show up.
It's interesting because I'm only considered 1% of the population. So there's only like 1 billion of me or something.
Yes. You're very good and special.
And so basically, when you talk about the aura, you're talking about that spiritual part of yourself. So how I explain it is we're like a pear. So you picture a pear, and the pear has a tiny little seed. Well, that tiny little seed is your physical body. So this vessel that I'm in at the moment is that seed. And the spiritual part is massive if you look at a pear in comparison, right? And so we all have this beautiful aura, auric field. And in human design, they figured it out that we each have our own aura depending on our type. So there's 5 types. And without going too far into it, being a reflector means that my aura is the only aura that actually has like a Teflon field around it. Mm-hmm. And what that means is that it can't be penetrated, but it samples all the other auras. So I take little tastes of everybody. I like flavors. I like to think about it like food, because who doesn't like a good buffet? Yep. And of course, with you being a Theta generator, you've got a warm encompassing aura that's like can hold group and space. And then there's other types. So, I mean, we could talk about that too. But.
Right. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about what is an oracle card?
What is an oracle card? Well, the exciting thing is I'm going to be deep diving into this right after this live. But
Yeah.
oracle cards are just another tool to use your intuition.
Yes.
Just like some people use pendulums, other people use runes, stones. I've seen past lives where I've actually been a healer, shaman, and I think it was like ancient Africa or something. I don't even know when or where, but
Right.
I was using bones and other materials to use to speak to the gods, basically. And when I say speak to the gods, I mean we all have our own interpretation of what that is. So maybe it's God, maybe it's you can call it whatever you want, the universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because I was texting, this is like my normal routine. I meditate in the morning, and then when I'm guided to text people already and let them know that there's going to be a Zoom meeting, at 12:30 to 2, one of the potential clients said, "Oh, is that something to do?" Let me read exactly what she said, because it was fascinating to me that there's a lot of misconception about it.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm not sure about oracle cards. Are they like tarot cards? And I said, not necessarily, but it's good to understand what they are to clarify. That was my response. And she said, I'm kind of wary of them. Okay. So there is a lot of misperception, right? Of a lot of
Yes.
people. And
Misconceptions.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
the fear, right? So one of our practitioners, Vienna, I would bring her up because she's also part of this free masterclass, right? Hi, Vienna. So when people have fear, just thinking about the word oracle cards, like, oh my God, it's of the devil. Don't even touch that. They really just like, wow, I'm not going to go. I was like, what's going on? So have you heard that, Vienna?
Oh, yes. Vivian,
Okay.
my friend, I have thought that. I heard it in my own head.
Oh
No,
my
I was
God.
definitely trained. No, stay away,
Yes, it's the
And
training, it's the programming, right? Like, don't even go there.
right.
Okay. So, Therese, can you
Yeah.
please enlighten the viewers about, well, just the word tarot card,
Mhm.
oracle card? Like, what's the similarity? What's the difference? Because I think this will help them understand what we really do. So, first, let's look at what is our purpose? Why are we using these tools?
Okay, so once again, I'm going to be talking about this in depth in this masterclass after today's call. So I just want to address a couple of things. So when I was, purpose is a whole different side of this coin.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to tell you a little story because I like telling stories sometimes.
Okay.
When I was 18, my cousin, who was considered a psychic, her name's actually Teresa.
Okay.
And she says to me, she says, Therese, you have this gift. So at 18 years old, she gives me the Raider Waite tarot deck.
Okay.
And I take it to my roommates. We're renting a house. I think I was 18, 19. And I start learning how to use them. So they're the traditional tarot deck, which is the original one of the oldest decks on the planet, actually, that
Mm-hmm.
came to be after using playing cards. So the people figured out using playing cards, they could actually divine what spirits were saying or figure out things, just like tea leaf reading or my mom used to believe you dropped a tea towel and the company would come.
Right.
So there's
Ours
these.
is a fork or a spoon.
Oh, is it? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's good to
it's like a
know.
male versus a female.
Yes,
Like, hey,
interesting.
yeah.
And the tea towel thing was an old French Canadian
Ah,
belief system, right?
okay.
So anyway, I get this deck, and it starts to like become true. Things were actually happening, and I was terrified.
All
I was
right.
terrified. I thought, oh, this must be devil's work,
Yep.
because that's what I'd been taught to
So
believe through friends, not from my family, because my family was not religious or spiritual at my house growing up, believe it or not.
okay.
So I ended up throwing it away, and I truly believed I'd be like burned at the stake or something. I threw this away. I threw away it all. I just let it go, and then I went tree planting. That's what happened. So then I go tree planting and move on with my life. Anyway, so fast forward to my late 30s. it became very clear that I did have this gift. And so when I started looking for what I needed in my life, it just kind of showed up, this oracle card training with Denise Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I learned, like, through reading, becoming the beginner reader. This was 10, 11 years ago now. When I first started developing this skill, so many people were afraid.
Yes.
They had this same belief system that I had at 18 years old. And the difference between tarot and oracle decks is not much, except oracle decks can be any topic. They can be anything. You can make your own deck. This is the best part about it. If you love art, make your own deck of cards. It's divination because it's a tool that you're attuning to. And now remember, tarot deck is using the major and minor arcana, so it has a totally different frequency. It actually has a different energetic frequency because of the times it was used, all these years and generations. Whereas an oracle deck can have a totally different energetic frequency, energetic vibration. So yes, it can be scary for people only because we've been taught not to trust in that power.
Wow.
That's
I guess we really trust in our own divine nature, right? Literally, that's what it is. Because even this, right? Manifestation booster. Are people going to get scared when suddenly you manifest something that you've been wanting to anyway? So think about this, right? We're talking about money or wealth. We're talking about health. Maybe some of you have been sick for a long time and you've been to several doctors, practitioners, and no one has figured out how to help you. But what if you put matters into your own hands and finally you can help yourself? Literally. What will happen? Are you going to say you're suddenly God? No, there's only one. However, God has provided us with a spiritual GPS so that we can find what feels good to us, right? So obviously, if your thought says oracle cards is of the devil, well, you can delete that now, okay? Because you can't benefit from this event if you think that way. It's like you've put a barrier before you can even step into the life that God would like for you to have. Does that make sense? It's like all these blocks and resistance, unfortunately, you allowed it to come in to your field. You allowed it, right? You have to take responsibility for this. Unfortunately, we all say, oh, maybe God wants me to not do this. God wants me to do that. Come on. Like, does God want you to be sad? Or is it because you just need to learn a lesson so that you can shift your perspective, perhaps go to the path that God really wanted you to have, and then go from there? You can always like turn around and say, oh, I don't like that, and that's fine. It's still your decision. It's your own free will, right? Vienna, what do you say about that? About people's restriction? Like how are you able to even get into emotion code, right? Without thinking like, is this of the devil? This
Right.
makes me feel that good.
Right. You
It's
know,
like,
and
"Oh, my shoulder pain went away. This must be from the devil." Is that what
no,
you're thinking?
exactly. Last time I checked, the devil was not into love and light and healing, and just saying that was my last check.
Oh my God,
And
it's so
so
funny.
for me, it was, and isn't this true of so much of life, that someone we love and trust
Mhm.
is able to expand our vision? So my first midwife, whom I totally trusted, I trusted her at that vulnerable moment of birth. We have such a connection, right?
Mhm.
And so she said, "Hey, I just got my emotion code training. I'm looking for volunteers." And I'm going, "If Marla's doing it, I'm in,"
Oh,
because
yeah.
I trust her.
Trust is there.
And
Yes.
then I found that I was doing it for myself, and it worked. And
Mhm.
so I think that's part of our mission when we find things that work, even if they're outside our original box of what we thought was safe,
Comfort zone. Yep.
we can share that. And that's part of the difference we can make, because we get to bridge from the old fear place to
Mhm,
the new faith place.
mhm,
And I do want to share my little card experience when I was out for one of the classes that you did earlier this year.
mhm.
And you're like, okay, bring a deck. And I thought, I'm going to play it safe. You went with me to a store, and I bought a card deck of emotions.
Okay.
That's safe, you know.
That's it,
I,
right?
I don't even know that I used it. I don't remember what it did, but you had an extra couple of decks there. And, we just laid out for the coming year. And it really brought some new, there were startling things. Like one was, I think June was going to be love or
Mhm.
romance is what it was. And I was like, ah, no, I'm not ready.
That
And
was
then,
funny.
yeah, it was. Yeah, later, after the panic. And then you patiently explained, you know what? What if that's you deciding to value you?
Mhm.
A romantic relationship with yourself. And I went, yes, that is what I need to decide I'm worth treasuring and taking care of. So,
Yeah.
and then I had a little experience with cards probably 3 or 4 months ago. And it was two of the 6 or 7 that I remember. One was, it was an animal deck,
Uh-huh.
and it was dog.
Okay.
And I was like, well, that's interesting. And the concept behind it was loyalty.
Right.
And within a week, I was thinking about my loyalty to my children and what would I do to help one of my children who struggled with some depression and anxiety. And the
Yeah.
need was, he needed to adopt out his dog. And
Oh.
so there was dog and loyalty. I did an emotion code session because I was scared of the responsibility, the continual daily responsibility,
Right.
and bumped my score up 500 points in
Yay.
20 minutes. And I have a dog who's actually got healing properties. She absorbs energy. She lays on my feet during
Yeah.
sessions. So there are, and that may seem just a little fluky, but the other one that really impacted me was, it was like, you need to be careful. Uh, you're leaning into being a little too free with your food choices. And I was kind of off on a little sugar binge time. And
Mhm.
it's like, it would be in your best interest to choose wisely about your food. And that's totally a message I needed to hear. And any friend that said that to me, I'm like, yeah, yeah, whatever. Sure, I'm doing that.
Yeah,
But
because
when
there's
this,
no trigger, right? Because it's a
right,
card. I'm like,
for
how
goodness sakes. And I was able to receive the message. So that's,
good.
I'm not scared of them anymore. And yes, I pray before I use them. Holy Spirit,
Very
I want to
good.
be led. So that's my
Yes.
story, and I'm
Yes.
sticking with it.
No, that's so good. So Therese, how does that really share with us a little bit of how have you used your card in the past to lead you even, let's say, to a set of friends that you're going to meet next or an opportunity that you're going to meet next, right? Because it's about manifestation. So how do you use the cards for manifestation for yourself?
Well, for me personally, it's about validating what I'm feeling a lot of times. When we hit a crossroads and we have to make a decision,
Mhm.
or we have to take action in something. We know it's time to take action, but we're not sure which direction, or we're
Right.
confused. For me, it's just that validation of how I'm feeling. It's validation I'm on the right track. And so, when you're a beginner card reader, for example, say you're learning to read cards for people, you're going to attract beginner people that have
Right.
never had many card readings, right?
Yep.
And so when I was going through the process of becoming the professional, that's what I was learning as I was doing this, was that, interesting how even now when I do readings, like yesterday,
Mhm.
I had a client session, and it became very clear she's meant to work with the Akasha or Akashic
Yeah,
records. I'm not
Akashic
sure what you
records.
want to call them, but they're called Akash in some circles. And so it was interesting how I pulled a card for myself later about the Akashic records as well.
Mhm.
And so for me, in making decisions and deciding in what to do if it's a challenging time, they always give me what I need.
Right.
They'll give me the strength I need, or they'll give me the affirmation that I'm on the right track, or they'll make me feel the love that I might be not allowing myself to receive. So they actually open you up to receive. And how can you manifest with ease? Well, you have to open up to receive.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
it's,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you for that. And it's so interesting because as I was pulling out like my enchanted map oracle card, I was asking something about why am I even talking to these people, right? Because I would meditate and I would get like a person in front of me. I go, who's that? Okay. So then I would just pick up the phone because in human design, I'm supposed to approach everything innocently, right? You just have a question. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. It depends on the interpretation all the time. And the card that came up is compass, right? Compass. It's like the direction. So sometimes I go, do I know where I'm going? Yes, of course. As long as I am aligned with my purpose, I know exactly what I'm doing, which is to bring out the best healers in the planet and bring it to the clients who's looking for variety. Because that's really what we do, right, in the academy. So when we go do this manifestation booster, I guess that's the message is a lot of people are looking for direction, right? And if we can give it to them, because there's 6 bodies, physical, emotional, mental, psychological, psychic, spiritual. What if we have 4 healers? So Amy Fahim is not here, but she's going to be doing quantum activation code. Hey, once you figure out what that is for you, what if you just flip a little switch and then things open up? So I invite you to join us. We have 2 more master classes. Therese is going to be our featured healer today. So please go to viviandeguzman.com, manifestation-booster / there. And if you use a coupon code, you can get $100 off until Thursday because we're going to do this on Friday afternoon, 1 to 5, and also on Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. My clients have requested that we do it half-half because the healings are so intense that literally you feel a change right there. So what happens if you can manifest something before the end of the year? And by the way, you also get 2 group healings, December 3 and 10, to clear 2021 so that you can pave the way for 2022. That ticket price covers those pretty much 3 events. So please use the coupon code and we will wait for you there. In the meantime, you can join us right after this, 5 minutes later, with Therese Nadeau for using your oracle card for guidance. What if that's what you're looking for? Maybe you're just looking for guidance. Maybe you got it all figured out already, but maybe you just need someone to validate and say, hey, this is what your card says. And then you can move forward with whatever it is you are planning, because now it's time to take action aligned with your own purpose. All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much. And I will see you in a few minutes at Zoom.
Yay. Thank you.
Bye.